Hi, welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me. In this video I'm going to be talking all about Revivo. I promised that I would make a video exclusively all about what they do and what they offer, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'll be sharing a list of pros and cons with you, so basically my personal experience of purchasing from them and using their website and my general opinion of the company. So let's jump right into it. So I've talked about Revivo a lot on my channel, and I've pretty much mentioned them as a company in every single one of my barefoot shoe videos because, well, that's where I purchased all of my barefoot shoes from, apart from one pair. So I recently did a video that showed my entire barefoot shoe collection so far, and I said that I would make a video separately that talked all about Revivo. So I'm going to briefly explain what it is that they offer and what it is that they do as a company, and then I'll jump into my personal list of pros and cons, the benefits and maybe the disadvantages that I've experienced. But please do let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you'd like to know, or whether you have experience of using Revivo yourself, or whether you're interested in a barefoot shoe journey. I'd love to chat to you, and also make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you do find it helpful. So Revivo is a website or a company that sells secondhand or used Vivo barefoot shoes. They basically refurbish or refresh them, and then they sell them on at discounted price. So any old lines or old models that are no longer available on the main Vivo barefoot website, they end up on Revivo, for example, and also shoes that customers have sent back that either they no longer wanted or they weren't happy with them for whatever reason, they also get sold on as well. So they'll refurbish or refresh or repair all of these shoes before they sell them, and then they'll also grade them in different conditions. So they've got good grade at the bottom, then they've got great, and then they've got excellent, and then they've got some never worn as well. So jumping straight into the pros or the advantages of Revivo, and my personal opinion as to why I love the company so much and why I've bought all of my barefoot shoes from them. I think the first thing to say is that the shoes are cheaper than Vivo Barefoot, and they're often cheaper than other barefoot brands as well. But they are still quite expensive, so I do want this video to be completely transparent. I'm not affiliated with the brand. I've never had any of my videos sponsored by, any brands at all. So this is, a real honest video. So they're still not that cheap, but they are cheaper than new shoes on Vivo Barefoot. And like I say, often cheaper than other barefoot brands as well. I'd say the second biggest thing that drew me to Revivo is that they've got a much wider choice of styles and models. So Vivo Barefoot does have a vegan section on their website, but it's really quite limited, and to be perfectly honest, I don't find a lot of them attractive. So that's one of the advantages of Revivo, is that because it's older models, which actually sometimes are more attractive than the newer models. Well, I personally sometimes find the older designs a lot nicer than the newer ones. But because, it's old lines or old models or returns from previous customers, it actually gives you a much wider range of styles, and so you have a lot more choice. And even as a vegan, I have said this a lot on my channel previously, I'm still happy to buy used leather shoes or products because they're already in circulation, they've already been produced, and I think that I'm not contributing to the demand. Personally, this is how I feel, to the demand for the production of new leather, for example. Which leads me on to their eco-credentials, or the kind of sustainability aspect of Revivo, which is that they are preventing lots of shoes from going into landfill. So that's their main selling point, is that basically they are tackling waste. So there is a huge problem with waste in general, but particularly with clothing and fast fashion, and also the amount of shoes that end up in landfill is really quite dreadful. So that is really what they're trying to prevent as best as possible. And so that is something that definitely really appeals to me. The shoes were already in circulation, so we're just making that kind of whole process a bit bigger and a bit longer. And yeah, I consider Revivo to be slow fashion because you have to wait for the sizes to come in, and particular models that you may like, you have to wait for them to become available. So yeah, I consider that slow fashion. I think that that's attractive. You can't just press the button and buy whatever you want. So yeah, that's another aspect that I really like about them. And then the final thing to mention that I really love about Revivo is that they offer a repair service, which I think is really unique, and I haven't seen any other company offer that, to be honest, or particularly not a barefoot shoe company. But do be aware that this is currently only available in the UK. I do believe they are trying to branch this out to become available to other countries, but yeah, currently only available in the UK. So they offer different grades of repair. I think they offer refresh, refurbish, and then a complete repair. So, you know, depending what the problem is, you do have to pay for the service, but it is free to send them to them, and then they'll send them back to you for free. So yeah, that's definitely a huge plus side for me. So moving on now to the cons, or the slight disadvantages, or the more negative experiences that I've had with Revivo, because I do want this video to be very transparent. So I have had quite a few unfortunate experiences with their customer service. The quality of their customer service hasn't been great at times. Unfortunately, I have had to deal with them quite a lot. I've had quite a few issues with the shoes that I've bought, and I've had, for example, wrong sizes sent to me. I've had the wrong models sent to me. The shoes have turned up and they've been a completely different colour to what's advertised on the website. So this has been a disappointment, I have to say, because then not only is that issue on their end, but then dealing with them has also been quite problematic. They're really slow in getting back to you often, and they tend to kind of ignore complaints, if that makes sense. And I am somebody who really hates having to write a complaint. It makes me feel really uncomfortable and it makes me feel really awkward. But I do feel that sometimes they don't value customers. I've found that Revivo doesn't really seem to be too bothered about customer loyalty, and I find that quite disappointing, because you are parting with a lot of money. You know, their shoes aren't cheap, so you would hope that they would want to hold on to their customers a bit more. And having experienced quite a few issues with them so far, I did go online to have a look, because I started to feel like, is this just happening to me? And I did read some pretty negative reviews from other customers as well. I hadn't ever read any reviews initially before I started using them, and to be honest, I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because it probably would have put me off of them completely. But yeah, I did want to be very honest about my experience with them. I have been dealing recently with one particular customer service advisor who has been getting back to me really quickly. Unfortunately, it's become a regular thing having to contact them. Also, their refund process is very, very slow. So when you get sent the wrong size, or the quality is really poor, or, you know, for whatever reason you're not happy with it, you're then waiting for them to reply, and often they kind of don't really seem to take issues very seriously. And then once you've returned them to them, there's a really long wait for your money to come back to you for the refund. So yeah, like I said, I did want to make sure to mention the downsides as well, because, you know, I'm not affiliated with the brands. You know, it's hard-earned money that I've spent. You know, I'm just an average person who has gone on this barefoot shoe journey. But I don't want to sound like I'm just completely bashing the company. You know, there's lots of positives and lots of benefits to them, you know, all the ones that I mentioned at the start. It's just that their customer service can be quite poor, and they don't seem to take customer loyalty very seriously, particularly when you are spending a lot of money on their company. And another issue I have had occasionally, which has been quite surprising, is that I will find a model or a pair of shoes that I really like, and they finally have my size in, and I'm really excited, place the order, you know, put them in my basket, place the order, get the order confirmation, so it's all gone through, and then later that day, or even the next day, I'll get an email to say I've been refunded for that order, and there's literally no explanation. They don't give you any warning, they just say your order's been refunded. So when this first happened, I contacted them and I said, you know, I don't understand, could you explain what's happened? And they basically just said, oh, your item's out of stock, so, you know, we've refunded your order. But they don't make you aware of that. And I was quite taken aback at first, and then it happened multiple times, and I just thought, okay, this is a bit strange, because their reason was that, you know, sometimes customers will put the same pair of shoes in their basket at once. I can understand that. But it has happened several times, and when you wait so long, kind of like that slow fashion element, where you wait so long for your size to come in, or the model that you like to be available, and then you place the order, it's not like they sit in the basket for hours, you know, it's literally a 5-minute thing, and then you get an email saying that they're not available. It is quite disheartening, because you wait a long time for them and they're very precious. And so yeah, that has become, I guess, a slight apprehension whenever I buy them now. You know, am I going to get an email tomorrow saying they're out of stock? But, you know, I still seem to take the risk. I still seem to exclusively buy from Revivo, apart from the first pair that me and my partner bought. So like I say, I don't want to sound like I'm completely putting the company down, but I think it is really important to give accurate reviews and opinions on things, you know, so that you guys can make an informed decision. And the last thing that I'll say that's maybe a slight inconvenience is that like I say, you have to wait for the sizes and the models to become available. So the slow fashion element is a good thing, but it also could be slightly inconvenient for some people because it can be quite time consuming. You know, I check Revivo every day. That may sound a little bit obsessive, but literally they restock whatever becomes available at random. So yeah, that can be quite time consuming. And actually the final thing that I will say is sometimes you might have to buy multiple pairs at once. So because they're used and because they've previously been worn, they can fit differently and they can have slight discrepancies in the condition of them. So some areas can dig in, and then an identical pair, maybe they'll be absolutely fine. So that's also quite time consuming. I've found that I've had to return a lot of pairs because they haven't been very comfortable, or you know, they've dug in at the side, and I've had to send them back. So yeah, because it is very limited on styles and sizes, sometimes that can be quite time consuming as well, finding the right pair that fit for you. Okay, so yeah, that was my sum up of Revivo as a whole, my pros and my cons. I generally believe that I'll still continue to shop with them despite, you know, the issues with customer service and despite the time scales of things. But I will be honest, I think I have relied very heavily on Revivo as a company because I really like Vivo barefoot shoes. There are other barefoot brands and I am interested in them, and I have mentioned in previous videos that I'm, you know, hoping to buy from Zero Shoes, and I'm also interested in Wilding, and I'll also look at other brands. But to be honest, I prefer the look of Vivo barefoot shoes. I like that they aren't just sporty looking or just outdoorsy looking. I like that they offer, you know, different styles of boots and smart casual pumps and sandals, and I think they have a really good variety that kind of covers all bases, if that makes sense. So I will admit I have relied heavily on Revivo, and that's probably why I'm more forgiving of the issues that I've had with them. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try and branch out to other barefoot shoe brands. Let me know in the comments if there's any that you've had a really good experience with or that you recommend. Okay, so I do apologise if this video has gone on a little bit longer, but I hope that it is useful. Like I say, let me know in the comments section if there's anything else that you'd like to see from me, or if you have any tips or advice yourself. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Honestly, as a small content creator, your support really does mean the world. A lot of work goes into the videos, and you know, the algorithm loves interaction with my content. So yeah, I'm really grateful if you can like and subscribe and comment, and also feel free to share with anybody if you think this video might be helpful to them. In the meantime, take care and stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.